Welcome back to the program. Economist Boniface Cheze discussing President Jonathan's final lap to May 29 with the countdown has started here on Business Morning. We thank you very much for your time. Let's continue the conversation. Yes. Were you surprised that the incoming president, General Muhammadu Buhari, supported, or he is supporting, the nomination of the outgoing Agric Minister, Dr. Adewumi Akinwumi Adesina, to head the African Development Bank presidency from the end of this month when AFDB holds its annual general meeting in Cote d'Ivoire? Are you surprised that there's this decision already?
Well, I think that's a work on development. It's a work on development because I think that we should have, there are issues that should be supported by this nation. And when I saw that, I was to some extent pleasantly surprised because I thought that President Jonathan was already pushing this guy, so naturally he's worked with President Jonathan, and nobody knows the person he worked with. So he's worked with him and so on, and he knows what he can do. And then let's give it to him. The Minister Additional in Agriculture is one of the ministers that made a difference. He came and then he had some expertise. We're talking about putting round pegs in round hole. And that's a clear example. The other person is the man in the industry is traded, Olusegun Agaga. You come, they make a difference. So I think that Additional has come and he has distinguished himself. I'm not saying that there are no issues.
But are you pleasantly happy, as it were, that the president-elect says, oh, he supports him, he supports that nomination?
Oh, that's wonderful, because I thought that it's based on conviction, and I think that it's a pan-Nigerian interest that we have in Nigerian in African Development Bank. I think that at the end of the day, it's going to redound to this country, because there's no way he'll be there, and then we will not get better consideration. You see what I mean, where he had discretions and so on and so forth. That would have...
So Additional might just be a very good, jolly good fellow, and the president-elect has just put his back into him. So that looks like, well, he got a clearance. So let's talk about other MDAs. Do you think there are ministers and other departments, heads, who should be concerned now? There are a lot of issues about Nigerian Port Authority. There are issues with Inland Revenue Service. There are issues with waivers, import duties, waivers, and things like that. There are issues with the petroleum industry regards refineries, price of petrol, subsidy with the finance minister. Do you think these are some of the ministers who could perhaps be getting some sleepless nights ahead of May 29?
Well, okay, what you're saying is that the president-elect will assume office and they might be put to task. That might happen.
Or they might be called
to question. For instance, the president-elect is on record to have said that he's going to revisit the missing funds,
20 billion in NNPC.
So that could happen. Now we've said that, for instance, that the president-elect should be forward-looking, but that's not where there are blatant, blatant cases of misdemeanors and things like that. And he's coming to say, look, we are going to have a different dispensation, and there'll be no better way beginning to show that than by coming to say, look, if there are places where they're in cases where we feel that things have not been done the way they should have been done, and we're going to look into this and do it speedily.
So should those ministries and parastatals be awarding contracts at this time? When we say governance is a continuum.
Well, they say if you award contract, if I'm a contractor, I don't know if I'll be too keen to begin to take a contract from somebody who I know in 3 weeks' time is going to exit.
And so governance is not a continuum then?
Well, it's a continuum, but then you have to be very careful.
But in practice, it's not.
Let me tell you.
But if you are owed as a contractor, Mr. Cheze, if you are owed as a contractor, you wouldn't mind taking out your money, getting your money before the new administration comes in. But you wouldn't want to get a new contract.
What is causing the first fuel crisis? It is exactly what you're saying now.
If the government is owing you, you don't mind getting paid.
Yeah.
Before May 29.
Yes, but then getting another business, I'll be wary of taking on that business 3 weeks to the new government.
Okay.
I'll be very wary. I'll accept it. For instance, you give me the business and you pay me up front. Pay me probably what I think is will cover my what I think covers me sufficiently in terms of upfront payment, and then maybe in that case I'll do it. But for instance, it will be foolhardy on the part of any business person to kind of accept Except, I don't know, maybe it's a guaranteed contract that is being sponsored from overseas and so on, like the foreign partners. Okay, I mean, so we cannot characterize, all the various dimensions of this. Except something like that, where you do that, it's something that's some stability. You have to be very careful, so that the person that is coming in looks at it and says, yes, we're going to award this contract, and he gives it to you. Because then the man that's giving it to you, and then there are issues on this contract, he's no longer there to assist you. And the person that's coming in might have a different attitude, to whatever conversation you want to have with him.
So also, all in all, there are serious concerns out there about this transition, technically speaking.
Yes, there are. And also people are beginning to tidy up their books. The president is coming with a reputation. And so where the people are looking at things and trying to say, look, here are things we did and we didn't do it very well, where we left some loose ends and so on. Let's make sure we tidy up things and so on. So we put our papers together and so on. We don't know how it's going to come. And this is why it's important to have somebody who's at the head, who, has a reputation. As soon as he comes, the fear, the fear of this man is not going to take, and so on. We begin to walk through the system, and then as soon as that begins to happen, you see, even that alone, that fear effect, is enough to begin to now make. I
will return to that question. So, who should be getting scared now among the MDAs?
Certainly, if I'm the person in the petroleum, I'd be worried. Obviously, yes, and I would expect that. It will be areas where that if you're talking of where money comes into sector where money comes into in this country, it's petroleum. And if really you're going to be looking, if you want to look back, it's going to be in that area. And we just talked about the 20 billion. Although we know the circumstances surrounding 20 billion, it's not tidy. So we started with 58, and we went to 20, we went to 12, and so on and so forth. And then ask yourself, even as the government central bank, really, are you the Accountant General of the Federation? And so on and so forth. So those are issues, But what one is expecting that. Going forward, that the president will come, the president-elect will come, and that he should not, like I said earlier on, not dissipate too much energy in trying to. He should draw the line somehow. 4 years is short in the life of a nation, and as we begin to clean up our electoral process, what's going to matter is that come 4 years from now, people are going to be elected. It's going to happen based on the evidence on ground.
So you think President-elect Muhammadu Buhari shouldn't spend most of his time looking back, driving with the rearview mirror?
He shouldn't spend any of his time looking at, except where it's glaring, it's shouting. I say, look, something is happening here. And there's a need for you to look at, and there's a need for him to begin to say, look, I have come to set an agenda.
Well, subsidy is one of those subjects, and you said you support subsidy removal 100%.
Yes.
But there have been trillions of naira in subsidy payments.
Yes.
And outstanding, according to some reports, about 200 billion that most likely General Buhari will inherit. Most likely there will not be another payment until May 29. We're just about 2 weeks to that date.
Yes. Well,
so the first thing the new president will do when it comes in from May 30th, say June 1st, will be to pay the petrol, the oil importers.
Well, but we need to make sure that these queues, at some point in time, that's one of the things you have to say for this government, that for a long time, we didn't have queues. And that was wonderful. If you look at this country, I think it's a shame that really, given our resource endowment, given where we are in OPEC and so on, we're having to import refined products. Maybe we shouldn't go into that. But then the amount of the loss in productivity of people wanting to now, and then all the things that begin to happen around, you can't quantify it. And it's not tidy. You find that as I was coming here, we had to come a little bit earlier because the roads are clogged up.
So do you think that if President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari handles the 20 billion, perhaps the oil sector, perhaps he should forget all the other things?
Well, no, we can't say that. This only concept that, that it's alarming,
Like an import duty waivers, for example.
Yes, waivers and so on. I find that there's a glaring massive abuse. And you say, look, I want to, can even want to recover some monies. And you can recover some monies, and that will not stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All right? You put the process in motion, and then is it the courts and so on, and then your Attorney General and Minister of Justice pursues them, and so that will not stop you from what you want to do. But things that we want to do disrupt, cause confusion within the environment, disrupt the peace within the environment. We need to, for instance, if you want to remove subsidy, you have to go into conversation with the unions and so on and so forth, get them on board, because you do it and then there's a flare up and so on and so forth. We don't want that.
And petrol is very highly inflammable.
Yes, it's flammable. And then you don't want tempers to the flame with it.
No. That's very dangerous. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time very much. Economist Boniface Cheze talking to us about President Jonathan's final lap of his administration, countdown to May 29, started right here on Business Morning on Channels Television. Boniface Cheze will be here in the days ahead as we continue to expand on that particular story. But that's about all we got time for today. Thank you very much. Join the conversation on Twitter and other social media platforms. Wherever you're on planet Earth, you're watching Channels Television live from our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Bosun Mofai. I'll see you later, lunchtime, as it were, 1:30 Central African Time with Business Incorporated. Have a great day.